Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the Pimp Slap P.O.D., Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike, money's killers, Mike even make the evening news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Buzz Sports Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up? What up? What up? Here we go. Medicate Monday. Glorious morning to kick things off here at Pub Sports Radio. Now it's time to focus on this evening card. It's last call. Yeah, I heard that comment earlier today. It's like I'm working off of a folding table. This thing shakes so much. That was a funny comment this morning. I forgot who said it, but shout out to all you guys there rocking with us today at Pub Sports. My guy T on the ones and twos, getting it tight and right. We're going to have ourselves a big night tonight, even though it's a small card. And that's usually where we end up doing, the most violence that we can when it comes to these bookies here, capitalizing on these tight little spots and trying to make our way to the window. That's what we're going to do tonight. Again, lots of fun. Glorious weekend. Holy moly, what a Sunday we had out there. I'm not the big on yesterday type of guy, but Sunday was unbelievable. Went down the card in NFL, kicking butt, taking names. Too bad that wasn't a last call show to work with as far as those numbers are concerned, but it was glorious. And I'm laughing because I was just thinking about the second show, the second half, well pickled, jumping in, tossing $100 down on a second half to start the drive, going past the 45, ending in a field goal at a nice little 20-1 payout. So that was the cherry on top. At that point, I let it go. At that point, cocktails were flying, the shots were going, and it was just a lot of fun. So shout out to the crew, all you guys that came and supported us in the chat throughout the day. Means a ton to know that we got you guys riding with us. Ride or die, baby. Yesterday, we rode for sure. So let's get into the show, though. We got ourselves a week, kind of bittersweet. We've got the NHL All-Star break coming up here at the tail end of this week. So we're going to have to make sure we get our hockey in. It's always a little quirky when it comes to, any sport, at least from my perspective, when it comes to this All-Star break. Kind of the last couple games going in, the first couple games going out. We got to make sure that we tread responsibly and carefully. I was going to say lightly, but I don't know that lightly is the right answer for tonight's card. So we'll see what happens out there. But, we've got the NBA. They're giving it to us tonight. We got a 12-game slate tonight. Going to be a lot of fun in the NBA and, of course, college basketball. Only two, marquee events. We're attacking them both tonight. So we're going to go out there and try to get this number. I'll share with you guys, the deal, the supporting trends that we're looking at to try to get that cash. And speaking of getting this show started out there, you guys know the deal right now. Get out there, hit that thumbs up button for us, show the love, show the support, show that you're talent, show that you're cashing, show whatever you want to show. Just make sure you hit that like button. We got 3 asks in this show. You guys know the deal by now. First and foremost, hit that thumbs up and show the support. Help us crack this code that is the 6 o'clock cesspool of a market here when it comes to these shows giving out these picks. Nobody reads the angles and the trends better than everybody as a part of this thing here. All you guys in the chat as well. Secondarily, get a pen and paper. We got tons of great content here, not just for myself, but all you guys in the chat, man. You guys are sharper and sharper by the day. We got the OGs out there rocking with us. I see our guy Dan Kelly's dropping action. We got our guy Razor Sharp with the do damage plays out there in the T-Wolves, Subhuman Gaucho, Perky Bumps. The crew's ready to go tonight. You want to make sure you write those plays down. And then last but not least, toss them in the chat. Let's talk about them. Let's get them on the screen. Let's see what you guys like as well, because it's funny. I just had a call with a friend of mine, and he was like, man, it's like, I see a lot of those names in the chat, and they're throwing winners too. I was like, you're damn right they are. This chat is sharp as hell. Love to be a part of what we're doing here and growing this thing and growing our bankrolls as well. So again, shout out to all you guys. Perky Bump Sanderson. Of course, he's got some context on the screen for everybody to enjoy. I won't repeat it to kick the show off on this Monday, but what up, Subhuman Gaucho? The Futon Bet says he likes West Virginia money line. Says, what's up? What's up, Futon Bets? Good to see you, my guy. Subhuman says, take it easy All right. Dan Kelly, Danny, our guys got Sam Merrill over 2.5 threes at plus 140 out there. And that's a nice little positive look for our guy, giving us some prop action there. Dan Kelly busted it out for us at a nice little plus money spot. Joey Harb's out there. Let's go. Joey. Bo Jackson, it's good to see you. My guy, Razor, Subhuman Gaucho, Sexton over 1.5 threes at plus 105. Man, once bitten, twice shy. He got me the other day, and I'm not happy about it. But I hope you cash that spot tonight. Certainly should be a good look when they change those positions around. He's been increasing his playing time, and his shot to minutes ratio has gone up as well. So like that look out there, Subhuman Gaucho. Perky Bumps is on Duke money line there today. Like that spot there as far as not he's shying away from the points there. He's not going to drop the 3.5. He's just going to take that money line out there. Caddy Daddy, what up, Caddy Daddy? Says Victory Monday. Northwestern McNeese over 145.5. And there's Joseph Thompson says, what up, Mike M? Here's his quick best bet. I know he reached out earlier. He said he's got some things going on, but he was going to try to drop in and share these looks with us. He's given us that look. He's got NC Central, Delaware State over 135 for our guy, Joseph Thompson. And there's my homie, Ick Schnizzle. I'll tell you what, pleasant phone call from my guy, Ick, on Saturday. This is the kind of guy Ick Schnizzle is, Just happy to say thank you. Appreciated the opportunity and the play that we had out there that we shared on Twitter. Yeah, that meant a lot. That was you're a stand-up cat, and it meant a ton to get the phone call from you and talk back and forth for a little bit. So appreciate you, my guy. Thank you for talent. Thank you for joining us today. I always love to see what our guy Ick Schnizzle's got out there. Of course, they're rocking over there on Tuesdays with Who Banging and live betting and sweating. Subhuman Gaucho says at Razor, first quarter, first half, full game equals do damage. I believe that is the do damage trifecta out there, Subhuman Gaucho, but we'll see if he can confirm that for us. And there's Scarminati says, let's go, fellas. Let's get this cash. Yeah, my guy, Ick Schnizzle out there. Let's go. Subhuman Gaucho says, beautiful 20-1 at halftime last night. Yeah, Subhuman Gaucho. I couldn't believe it when it happened. I look back, I didn't even realize it happened. When I look back at it, I was like, really? What? And then I saw it again, and I was like, wow, and they paid it fast. They paid that thing so quickly, I didn't even have a chance to see that it hit before they paid it out. So that was ton of fun out there. Dabby Cab, our guy, what up? Skunts, he says out there. Cheshire Cat's in the house. He says, bye, Ravens. Vinny V says, let's get it. Razor is confirming that first quarter, first half, full game out there for our guy, Razor Sharp. Dabby Cab says, for sure. He's talking about some pitching lessons out there. Dabby's going out, showing him how to throw that old high heat there across the chin. Maybe it gets loose and catches somebody in the chin, and that's okay. That's baseball, Daddy Cat. That's how it goes. Jay Smooth, the smooth balls play of the day. He likes Grambling, Arkansas, Pine Bluff game under 146 out there for our guy, Jay Smooth. Keith, what's up, Keith? Let's go tonight. Justin, there we go. The Stacks POD from our guy, Justin. He's on the Cavaliers at +3 today. Let's go, Justin. Good luck to you, my guy. Morgan Spooner says, what up? My favorite garbage patch plays of the night, A&M Corpus Christi -2.5, Houston Christian +3.5, and Jackson State. That card's so ugly. I like it, Morgan Spooner. Love those spots out there. Those mid-majors, baby. That's where the cash is. That's where we get the advantage. The book's got to put a line on everything, and we can go out there and snipe them, and that's what Morgan Spooner's trying to do tonight. Alec Dirk says, let's get this money. Vinny V, Tori Coker's out there, says, what's up? Thanks for the under in the Orlando game. Tori Coker, my guy. That was a lot of fun too, wasn't it? Man, we were just fighting. It was one of those nights out there. So appreciate all you guys going here. Let's go, though. We got the housekeeping to get into, the administrative housekeeping here. We got to go through Friday. Not our glorious of days here. It was a 3-8 Friday. Oh, it sucks to say it, but it is what it is. And we will give this the recap here. We got our Florida Panthers spot. You guys know that I don't traditionally do a lot of these first period spots out there. And this is why. The Rangers first period under blows it, right? The Rangers score. It's a 1-1 game. Every single game was multiple scores in the first period there on Friday. Clearly, the Colorado both teams to score. They go up 3-0. The Kings can't even get a goal in that game, so that's a loser. We won the Vegas spot, though. That was a +138 spot. We won the Florida Panthers spot out there as well. We went the Ofer out there in college basketball. Bonaventure smoked that total under 144.5. Bad read. And then Cal comes back to win the game, but slights me in that first half at -1.5. Luka triple-double. We went to +210 spot. Didn't get it. And I believe it was his assist. I think he fell too short in the assist category from that triple-double. So It is what it is. The Hornets, here's the thing about the Hornets. I mentioned it. They're on my shit list, and yet somehow I got them back in the play, and I was looking at that game tonight. I got to stay away from them Hornets right now. That was an L. We won the OKC spot, though. OKC beat them up real good. We downed the Magic and the Portland spots, and happy to put that one behind us. Fucking Fridays, man. I had nothing worse than having to carry that thing around all weekend. The weight of that day out there kind of bringing me down all weekend long. But it was a glorious Saturday. We spent some time with Dabby and C-Mac on the live stream. Billy Briz dropped in. Lots of fun going through that college basketball and then the NFL. So away we go. Let's get that housekeeping out of the way. And now let's roll into this week here. It's a new week. It's new money time out there. And RVD420 says, what up, my money? Mike M, I crushed NFL last night. The bookies are so mad that don't want me to bet on the books no more. Damn, LOL, time for me to find a new book. I was happy to, what's funny is the guy texts real fast when it's a day like yesterday. So he's not happy with me either. So guys, smash that like button if you haven't done so already. We're going to jump into this thing and get going. We've got, again, a smaller card, but a fuller card, if that makes sense here. So we will dig into this thing and get ourselves going here. So we're going to open it up with the ice here. We're going to lace the skates up. It's one game tonight. We talked about the slate. There we go. I told you he's getting it tight and right. Look at these graphics our guys busting out there on the screen for us today. My homie T on the ones and twos, locking it down, getting it right, baby. Let's go. That looks great, T. These are the numbers. So you're looking at this spot out here tonight. We'll talk a little bit about these goaltenders here, and kind of an interesting spot because Ottawa's kind of pulling. It looked like, let me just double check here now that we're talking about this thing, but it looked like Sogard's going to be the guy that's going to go, and Mads Sogaard is likely. He's 1-1 on the season with a 4.55 goals against average, 84.1% save percentage out there. And, clearly the minor league guy here that's got to come up and take the call. When you look at Nashville, they're going to go with Juuse Saros there, their number one goaltender, although he's not having the best season of all either. 19, 18, and 1, 291 goals against average and a 90.4% save percentage. Big thing here. It's Nashville and how they rebound. There's only a couple of games left till that All-Star break. We know the situation with these teams, and sometimes they check out. But Nashville's very much in the playoff hunt for this thing here. And, the fact that we're sitting on a 6.5 kind of suggests we potentially are going to see some goals. Now, full disclosure, I was looking at the under in this game to start this thing off here, the under 6.5 at plus 105. Then I saw the Sogard news, and I don't want to be the overreaction here. I don't want to be the knee-jerk reaction, but I think the opportunity in this spot makes more sense to get on the Nashville side of the house here, not just because of that goaltending situation, but if you look back at it, Ottawa's lost 3 of their last 4 games. They're just in a rut right now. They're going to the well with this Mads Sogaard because they're kind of approaching this All-Star break and saying, we need to give everybody time off. We got to get rested. We got to come back after this All-Star break. They got to put together the strategy for the trade deadline. Lots of moving pieces right now for that Ottawa Senators game. On the other side of things, with the Nashville Predators, one of the best teams to bounce back in the NHL after a loss. Yeah, I said it. 10-3 on the road after a loss. Traditionally, you would think, hey, maybe that's a tricky little spot for them. But Nashville has shined through 10 of the 13 times they've been in that position. It's a Monday. I think when it comes to the early part of the week, sometimes these guys coming off that weekend suggest lower scoring games. And if you're going to have a lower scoring game, it's going to be Saros, I believe, that's keeping the puck out of the net. Again, 4.55 for Sogard. I'm going to jump in here at minus 110. Low opportunity to take advantage of a team that's, in a nice little competitive spot here. They are in their 3rd game of the 3-game road trip. They will go. They will have one more game at home against the LA Kings before the All-Star break. And I think that's just a little homecoming. So they want to finish this road trip off strong. Granted, they've kind of had a couple of setbacks as well. But it was Lankinen that was in goal, not Saros. I think the rest is going to do him well. And we're going to find a way to get this Nashville Predators team a victory over a low-scoring Ottawa Senators club. So that's how we're going to go with this hockey card today. Again, I mentioned to you guys before, I was strongly thinking about that under. You see it on the screen, but it's an about face for me. I went to the Nashville Predators. That's what happens with the show. Sometimes we're going to lock them in. We're going to lock them in early. Other times we're going to get late-breaking news that's going to push us to the other side. So that's in case that is in fact the case here. Schnizzle says UNC. The Futon Bets Lakes Predators won their last 3 meetings versus the Ottawa Senators. Love to see that number, Futon Bets. Thanks for sharing. Nasty Nate. Nasty Nate, it's good to see you, man. I know we were rolling back and forth on Saturday, so it's a lot of fun to see you in here. My guy says Celtics smash. BT isn't bet more. Not sure what that means, but Abel A's out there, says sup everybody. Shout out to Abel A. I think I saw him on X this morning wearing the new digs there from them boys in the sesh out there. Medicate Mondays, RVD 420. Markel says at Mike M, let's go. A late night special tonight. Maybe we'll get there. BT says any reason hockey first period -0.5 isn't better more. Seems to always pay plus money. Oh, I see what you're saying. Isn't paying more. I get that now. I think it's because they expect Nashville to kick the shit out of them. I think that's just a simple point to the. It's a great question. It's a great observation to see these first periods. And this goaltender, they're probably expecting this goaltender to get the hook after he lets in 3 quick goals. So we'll see how it works out. Ramon Scott says graphics on point, man. Looks sharp, doesn't it? Told you guys, we get this plane in the air. We're going to fix these wings as we're flying here. We're cruising at altitude, 35,000 feet. We're getting it right for you guys, and it looks great. So again, my boy doing a great job making it look good for us. And let's go. Let's keep rolling. Let's move on. We're going to transition over to the college hardwood here. We've got ourselves a little try spot here, a little trifecta opportunity. And I mentioned to you guys, there's 2 marquee games. We're going to attack them both. And then we got a little sandwich spot in between there with a Northwestern State opportunity that I think is going to be an opportunity for us to take advantage of. So here we go by the numbers, guys. The deal here, Virginia Tech opens up at 3.5, sitting at 3.5. Some threes out there, though. Some threes are starting to come into play. So that being said, 76% of the bets and 71% of the cash popping in on this Virginia Tech side of things. So it's important that we're starting to see some of that late movement out there. The total, the back number is falling. 147s down to 146.5, and even 146 out there as we're seeing on the screen. 55% of the bets and 52% of the cash on this under, continuing to fall. And then last but not least, as we see some of these tighter numbers here and we look at this money line movement out there, what's happening on the street with the money line? The Blue Devils open up at -170, drop to -155. 69% of the bets and 53% of the cash are thinking the same thing out there. Hey, let's not mess with this 3.5. It's cheap enough to go out there and take the money line. And I think that's where people end up getting bitten in this spot here. You know, when you look at what's going on specifically with Duke, first and foremost, when you're the favorite on the road in the ACC as a ranked team versus an unranked opponent, you're 14-28 in those spots out there. They're barely winning those games as well. They're winning by about 1.8 points a game on average. Furthermore, when you're the away favorite, you got less than 2 days of rest after a home win. You're 36-45. The home win does not travel well on the road, specifically when it comes to the ACC and this ranked versus unranked situation. You look at Virginia Tech, 3rd game in a row of this little homestand they've been on, but they have been blistering up on teams right now. They took down BC. That was a big win because Virginia Tech, I don't think Virginia Tech's beaten Boston College in like 13 games. I'll have to go back and fact check it, but they came out there. They handled it as a 4.5-point favorite. They win the game by 5 points and cover the spread. Then they play a Georgia Tech team. They're laying 9.5 points. They hammered them by 25 points out there against Georgia Tech. So 3rd game of the homestand looks good on these boys. The flip side of things here, Duke has been playing well. I think the situation with Duke here is the glaring obvious spot for me, that loss they took at home to Pittsburgh, 86-70. Now, I don't want to overreact to that particular spot, but I think this comes down to a last bucket type of game. 14.5-point spread on Louisville on the road. They win that game by 14 points. Big number. They get the win comfortably on the road. Don't cover the spread. The flip side, they're laying 7.5 at home against Clemson. They snuck that win in against Clemson, 72-71. I think the index with this number is kind of telling us everything we need to know here. It should be a tighter scoring game, should be a tighter affair. I'm going to go with Virginia Tech and taking the points at home, where I think it's going to come down to that last bucket opportunity. So I don't know about that one. I don't know about you guys. There might be some love and hate with that side of things, but that's okay. Make America Great Again, says Virginia Tech first half. Kelly V, Virginia Tech at home, 1-4 of last 5 straight up versus the Dukes. There we go. Kelly V dropping the goods in there for us. And 29, any hole is a goal, Mike. Let's get it. I like that saying. It sounds It sounds good as I say it aloud as well. Morgan Spooner, that Hokies crowd known how to affect the game. This is kind of game under. Duke hasn't proved they can win yet. I agree with that. Make America great again, says Virginia Tech. 7-0 in the first half at home, the last 7. I'm still having brain fog from yesterday, so it's hard for me to read these aloud as reading does not come easy for me, apparently. So Futon Betts likes Virginia money line. I can't be mad at that spot. Kelly V says, versus Pitt, I think Duke was missing 2 players, but that was a bad loss. Yeah, I still think there was a lot to be. Yeah, that's a great point, and they've been piling them on. They've been catching those wins, but tough spot for them today. Tori Coker says, sorry, Mike, I disagree with you. I think all the favorites covered tonight. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about this next game. Speaking of here, we got another big plus number next to our names. With this one, we're looking to take advantage of this 8 p.m. Eastern start. Northwestern State, the Demons versus McNeese State, them Cowboys. Who even thought McNeese was a state? Northwestern's a state. They just throw a state on anything. State of the state here, but we do have the battle of states. And right now, 83% of the bets, only 40% of the cash on Northwestern State. So we've got, public is taking them points. Sharps are starting to look on the other side of things, and we've got this number falling. So I still see a 20 out there. It's a little juicy now at minus 112, but you'll kind of see this line history with it opening up at 21 shows that despite the public being on it, a lot of support moving in that direction. Furthermore, the total, kind of a static number here. It hasn't really moved much. We opened at 144.5, 39% of the bets, 26% of the cash on the over, not moving out there. So we're still pretty much right where we, I guess you could find a half a point here or there, depending on the book you have, but interesting spot there where it looks like a lot of support from the public side of things, or from the Sharps, all like the under in this game. And we'll see how it plays out here, but I'm looking at this thing here, and we have been tracking. I've been calling it the posse factor. The posse factor in this case is that team New Orleans. We talked about New Orleans before. Something going on with New Orleans down there, and what happens is they play such a bad game with lots of turnovers. Guys go out there and they glory hole it. They punch out points like it's going out of style. 102-65 win for New Orleans against McNeese State on January 27th. And interesting spot when you look at it and how it kind of breaks down, because the flip side of things with Northwestern State, back-to-back losses here. Southeast Louisiana, AMCC, of course, but they did handle New Orleans as well, 92-67. We talked about this a week ago. What happens after you play New Orleans? You take a loss. Northwestern State plays New Orleans, 92-67 win. They come back. Southeast Louisiana, 62-71. They take the L in that spot. So when I was looking at these numbers, this conglomerate of posse, if you will, this posse of groups that fall under this bucket, 34-106, the average line we're seeing in those spots. Here's what's crazy about it. 7.8 points is the average line that we're seeing in that kind of posse spot there after a game like New Orleans. And they're losing those games outright 74-71. So I don't think Northwestern State's live in this case. That's ridiculous here with this kind of team and the way that they've been playing. 5-15 Northwestern State sitting out there against McNeese. But on the same side of things here, you look back and what we've got with McNeese about to go on a road trip against Southeast Louisiana. So trying to get things right potentially here, but I think it's that letdown opportunity. We're seeing the cash moving in the direction we want. And last but not least, the fact that we're down to 20s tells me everything I need to know about this game. We're going to rock and roll. We're going to take this Northwest State spot, Northwestern State Demons at 5-15. And shout out our guy, Director 97. $5 dono for our guy blessing the action tonight out there. He says, play of the day is Howard, -8. Best of luck, everyone. Let's cash some tickets. Mel, Mike, wise move to switch away from an under with Sogard in goal. I agree on Nashville as the side. Holy shit. Mel and I are in alignment. I'm happy to see that, Mel. That's great to hear. And that was just a spot where I saw a lot of trends supporting the fact that this should be a lower scoring game, but I just think, collectively, these two teams are averaging less than 3 goals a game in total offensive output. Just not enough spot there for me to want to take advantage, because I think that, Sogard could get himself lit up. So let's keep rolling there. Let's get it done. Morgan Spooner says, love McNeese, but this is too many points. That's exactly what I was thinking. I expect them to get the job done. Can they even win by 15 and feel good about themselves? Absolutely. But I think that back door opens up as the game ticks on, as they start to cycle through the younger crew there, the second stringers, to get in there and get some court time as well. Let's go. Let's keep it going. Morgan Spooner, Northwestern State has played everyone in conference tough. I agree. That's a great look out there at Morgan Spooner. And Kelly V says, Mel, great call. First period, Seattle NHL yesterday. Thanks. Mel says, Kelly V, thanks. That was a great spot for Seattle to jump out early. Man, at that point, I was lit because I was all over that Seattle spot. I didn't even get a chance to play it as effectively as I wanted. But anyhow, let's go. Let's talk about this last game on the card. The big one here, the showdown. I'm excited about this game simply because I think this is a spot where Houston, coming off that last game, this was the live bet game that we had on Saturday, and they shut K-State down out there offensively. We were able to cash our team total over live though at 50.5, and that was a nice plus money spot because Houston kind of gave up there in that last 3 minutes of the game. This line opened at 5.5, down to 5s, and even 4.5s out there right now. 29 Girona. I know, I saw that, man. Girona got that job done. It inspired me to go to is it Getafe? Getafe played today and got that win as well. So lots happening over there in the old Spanish La Liga. My guy 29 gave us that play the other night. Let's go. We got this Houston spot again, down to 5s and even 4.5s. 65% of the bets, 72% of the cash on them Longhorns, baby. Hook them. Let's hook them indeed. This back number 130.5. 61% of the bets and 84% of the cash on the under. And there's been marginal movement in this spot. So let's get into it just a touch here. We're looking at 18-2 Houston Cougars, 14-6 Texas Longhorns. We know Texas comes off that BYU spot there. They took a big L, 82-74 on the road. Previous to that, they took down Oklahoma on the road, though, 75-60. They were getting 4.5 points. They came out there as a dog and slammed them and went to business out there. Hit them up good in their barn by 15 points. On the other side of things, I mentioned that K-State game there. Houston was in the run of that thing right from the hop. I think they had – somebody had to fact check me on it. 21 points at halftime for K-State. Houston just literally shut them down, put the clamps on them, and spit them out. And, again, I was happy to get that 50.5 with a final score 74-52. I barely snuck that one in there, but – I think tonight there's just a little bit of this mismatch factor here. First and foremost, Houston 0-11-1 against the spread when they've got less than 6 days of rest, and they won that last game by 17 or more points in a blowout spot out there. 0-11-1. Furthermore, road ranked teams are 0-36 against the spread when they're off a spread win or double-digit spread loss when they got a total sitting there at 139 or less. So lots of kind of green lights here to go and take an opportunity with Texas. Do they win the game outright? I don't know, but I get that 5 points. I think, the thing about a spot with Houston is they're boom or bust. They can shut teams down. They can put the clamps on, as I mentioned. Clearly, 18-2 record this season, but the problem when you're playing a team like Texas, I know there's some issues going on, and, Texas battles kind of health factors all season, but look at the big ones that they've played out there. They're laying 2.5 points as a favorite against Baylor at home. They beat them 75-73. Baylor kind of one of those crown jewels. I think the big challenge that they had here was on the road January 13th at West Virginia. They've kind of been in this little lull, and the fact that they're benchmarking this thing at a 5-point spot, again, with those 0-4 opportunities on that Houston side, give me them Texas Longhorns, and we've got that correlated market movement. We're going to rock and roll. That's going to be the third game in college basketball. Trisha M, what up? She says, hit the likes, peep. Markel says, probably. I'm sure there's some conversation going back and forth in the chat. Ricky Bobby, y'all think Texas score more than 70 points? I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those 64-62 types of games, Ricky Bobby. That's just my kind of gut that tells me this feeling with this game here. And it wouldn't surprise me to see Texas come out there and get that win outright. 18-2 Houston. I know they're a strong team. They've played well, but this is certainly, I think, a vulnerable opportunity for them. And Mel says, Kelly V, FYI, I think Mike has the right side in Nashville tonight, but I don't know if I'll bet it. Not going to force anything with a one-game slate, LOL, out there. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Mel. Mel's with me on this one, Kelly V. Can you believe it? I said, holy shit, I can't believe it. But, hey, that's okay. That's the way it goes. We had fun Saturday. A lot of fun on Saturday talking back and forth about some of those games. So let's turn gears here, guys. We've got, again, a short card here pre-NBA. We're going to put these high tops on, give it a couple of pumps, and then go out there and try to tackle the association tonight. And, a lengthy card here with 12 games. but some interesting spots with these games that kind of made me kind of pause and scratch my head for a minute. Right-hand side, you'll see the deal, where we're at, what we're talking about, the games we're getting involved with here. We've got ourselves a 5-pack. Potential to add one more. We'll see if I get there as we talk aloud through it. But just to kind of keep things on the roll for you guys, a couple of games we're going to skip right over is this Clippers and Cavs game. I'm just not seeing anything I like in the spot here. I know the injury factors. It looks like Cleveland should be clean bill of health. The Clippers have been playing well. 56% of the bets, 69% of the cash on the Clippers. And yet that line's dropping 1.5 now to 1.5. So there's 2.5s, 2s, and 1.5s out there. Then you got the back number, 226.5. 69% of the bets like it over, but 66% of the cash likes it under. Potential pros versus Joe spot there. And, borderline any movement, if anything, to the under. Then the money line, we got minus 140, has dropped to minus 118 with 60% of the bets and 81% of the cash. Kelly McInnes, our guy out there, is on the Clippers minus 1.5. And, Perky Bump says Clippers look like free money out there. That's my concern with that game. So I passed on that one. The Knicks and the Hornets, minus 5 number moves up to 8, 8.5, 9, and now we're seeing 9.5. This thing is steaming, Willie Beeman out there. 75% of the bets, 88% of the cash on the Knicks, and it's steaming. Now, we know the situation with Julius Randle, right? Randle's big factor out there. And, man, look at that. Our guy, Marcus McCarthy, love the new breakdown. Man, that's my guy, T. I can't take any credit for what that man's doing back there. He's doing great work out there, though. We appreciate him and everything that he does for the show. Let's go here. We're looking at this back number, 224.5, has dropped down to 218.5, 85% of the bets, 84% of the cash on the over. And yet we see about a 6-point discrepancy out there. PubSport, there's our guy, T. Look at this guy. Not only is he crushing everything he does out there, but he's giving us injury updates, too. OG's out of this game for the Knickerbockers there, the old short pants. I was thinking Knicks, but that's that Hornet spot that I just told you guys earlier here at the recap of last Friday's show that I can't get involved in it. I want nothing to do with them boys. Let's look at the Pelicans and the Celtics here. Line moves it from 9 to 8, 75% of the bets, 72% of the cash. We know the Celtics have been fire at home. They have been crushing and taking names, but coming off that big loss there at home now. Line has dropped. Everybody's on Celtics. The back number opens at 231.5, has moved up 3 points to 234s, 40% of the bets, but 51% of the cash on the over. So we're seeing certainly some concern there. The market is thinking over in this spot. The books are showing vulnerability to the over in this spot. So game that I got involved with here, the first one on the screen, the Utah Jazz open at +1. And for the most part, we're seeing them kind of still sitting at +1. 60% of the bets, 43% of the cash, though, on the Utah Jazz. The back number, 232, has moved to 236.5 out there. 84% of the bets, 98% of the cash on the over. And books are showing a 3.5 to a 4.5 point concern out there. Kelly V says, looks like an underplay now with that Knicks and Charlotte game out there. Wouldn't be mad at that play at all, Kelly V. Interesting take and breakdown there. And then our guy, Blackjack Lloyd. Like to see a guy, Blackjack Lloyd. I haven't seen your name out there, my guy. Thanks for coming in, rocking with us here. It says Cavs money line out there. Like to see that. So let's go. And then Kelly McInnes again on the other side of it. Justin Davis, that's my two-teamer. Preds in the under, Texas in the Houston spot out there. So looking for a lower scoring game in that as well. As far as this Brooklyn Nets game is concerned here, I just kind of mentioned the fact that it does have a little bit of that pros versus Joes type of split scenario. And I expect in this game, I think Brooklyn finds a way to falter through the whole thing out here. 17-7 since they put Colin Sexton into the starting lineup. I know we talked about that over 1.5. It was a 1.5 or 2.5 3-pointers out there. And not mad at that look whatsoever. They are kicking ass and taking names, but we know their home road situation there. They are way more opportunistic when they are at home than they are on the road. And the Nets, as bad as the Nets have been this season, one of the best first half teams in the NBA out there when they've got that home court. So I'm kind of looking to mismatch these two and saying, give me the team that plays a nice first half at home versus a team that doesn't travel very well. And, we've got, obviously Colin Sexton, I mentioned. We've got Lauri Markkanen out there as well for the Jazz. I think, again, from the paint perspective, Nets do not fare very well out there. And in this case here, when it comes to Utah Jazz playing teams that have a poor paint presence over 24 games, 8-1 against teams that currently have losing records, including 6 wins on the road. This was isolated down specifically to the first half because I think that's where they command the advantage. Again, overall length of this game, potentially not. The Nets have lost 5 of their last 7 home games straight up, but I think we can squeeze some cash out of this first half. And it's a low margin spot here, minus 105 opportunity to take advantage. So let's go. That's going to be the first NBA play of the card. Again, I just think it's an interesting spot because we're not seeing that correlated movement. You look at the money line, opens at minus 105 for the full game, still sitting at minus 105, 85% of the bets, 89% of the cash on the Utah Jazz. And I got to go with this first half. Just give me this first half. This is that proverbial in and out of this thing and move on to the next one. And the next one, indeed, we will. We've got the Suns and the Heat game out there. Whoops, I'm out of order. My bad. We got the Lakers and the Rockets game out there. And again, interesting spot with this line movement because we've got a +1. We still got +1s out there. I do see a 1.5, but I'm assuming that's kind of gone at this point. 69% of the bets, 91% of the cash on the Houston Rockets. This back number opens at 225.5, has moved up to 234 with 72% of the bets and 90% of the cash on the over. Interesting spot there. They are showing that they like some points in this game. And that was kind of my initial take on this game, was leaning to those points. But I started breaking it down. I found a little nugget that I wanted to capture here. We look at these Lakers have done. Now, that Golden State game the other day, that was some fun stuff to watch, man. That was a score fest out there for them Lakers. 145-144. Holy shit, there was no defense played in that game whatsoever. I know that was the big LBJ coming back spot out there, and it was a big score fest. Prior to that, 141-132 win against the Chicago Bulls. And then before that, the Clippers showdown there. They had dominated the Clippers, but in this case, they were wearing the road sweaters at the former Staples Center. Now 127-116, they took that loss out there. Game before that, they beat up on the Portland Trailblazers. And the Rockets kind of falling off right now. The Rockets are out of gas. They have lost 3 of their last 4 games, but they did have back-to-back road trips. They beat the Hornets, them shitbag Hornets, that same team that seems to be destroying this NBA card. And then on the other side of things, they took a road loss against them Nets that we just talked about, the aforementioned Nets, when the Nets were at home, 106-104 loss. Now you look at this one here. This is specifically how the Lakers do on the road here. As a small favorite on the road of no more than 7 points, the fact that it's low should be a big red flag with this 1.5. They're 0-8 against the spread going back to April of last year when they're a road favorite of no more than 7 points. So big spot out there. I still see the +1s at -110. In this case, I'm going to take the +1. And the reason being, if you look at these games and kind of how this margin is factored out, they're tighter games. They're tighter playoffs. They're tighter experiences out there. So, we're not seeing them, 145, 144, almost an identical profile there. When you look at this Lakers game, that was the +1.5 spot. So, depending on the side you were on with that thing, you might have taken the L. But in this case here, we're going to take the +1 at a -110. I just think it's worth the nickel to have the point. It's -105 to take the money line. And I don't think that's a long-term positive strategy. So what up, Dave Berkey out there? Says, what up, Cappers? Shout out to you, Dave Burke. Good to see you, my guy. Morgan Spooner says, free money line piece for your parlays. Jackson State money line. They play one of the most dog shit teams in D1, Florida A&M. You're speaking my language, Morgan Spooner. They let a D3 team have a 5-point game at half and almost lost to an 0-20 team out there. Some great numbers out of there for our guy, Morgan Spooner. Nunya, time to snag a bag, says our guy, Nunya. Perky Bumps, rocking there, giving some feedback in the chat. And Abel A likes the AD double-double, LBJ over 7.5 points. D'Lo over 17.5 points as a same game parlay at +250 out there. I'm going to take a note of that, my guy, Abel. Hey, thanks for sharing that with us. Like this thing here. Let's go. Markel says, I would do Bron rebounds and assist at Abel A, is what he's saying out there, thinking that there might be some opportunity for the rebounds and assist line for Bron out there. And Dave Burke says, Juicy Saros in for the Preds today. How are we not putting the house on the Preds? Dave, welcome to the show, my guy. We locked in on that play. It was looking at the under initially in that game, but we're hammering away on these Nashville Preds. Again, also in a rebound spot, Daybird, 10-3 when they're on the road after a loss. So great opportunity out there. Let's go. Nunya says Jackson State at FAMU minus 4.5 is sharp. I'm taking the money line for our guy. And then 29 says Sagan points and rebounds over out there. So lots of plays being shared in the chat. Thank you guys for dropping your looks out there. Appreciate everybody taking the time. Let's go on to this next game in the association. And my quick note there for that game while we're talking about it, we don't need to go back to it, but not the first half for me. I know that we've talked a lot about these guys. I know some of our guys like LJ have come in here with these first halves as well. I just want the full game in this one. That 0-11 spot there for me. I'm sorry, 0-7 spot for the LA Lakers is enough for me to say I want the whole stretch of the game. So just a little housekeeping note. And then Kelly McKinnon says, yeah, same side, Houston plus 1.5. Let's go. Justin Davis says definitely a Bron assist type of night out there. And Swears in the house says, we be pumping. Let's go, baby. Let's talk about this next game. We've got prep for everybody ready to go. We're looking at that Suns and Heat game out here. And let's look at these numbers at +4. Has dropped to 3s now. So we're seeing some 3.5s and now 3s. Here's this reverse movement spot because we've got 54% of the bets and 80% of the cash on the Miami Heat. This almost has that feeling from a gambler's first glance perspective, in my opinion. We go from -4s down to -3s. The over 231.5 has taken a little bit of hit to the under. It's down to 229.5 out there. 66% of the bets and 63% of the cash on this over, yet it's dropped 2 points out there. And in this case, I'm going to embrace that drop here. From a perspective of this game, 26-20 Phoenix Suns. We know the big three should be rocking and rolling out there. The other side of things, this Miami Heat team, my apprehension initially when I looked at this game is Miami Heat just don't cover spreads at home. Like if you look back at it, they're just not, look at their current run that they're on as well. 5 straight losses out there, 3 of them coming at home as well. But I was thinking about this team, and early in the season, I remember seeing the Miami Heat play to some unders at home as well. But who knew their last 2 games are coming off of overs? Some stronger competition like the Boston Celtics, 140-110, smash that over at a 225 number. Then you got the New York Knicks on the road, 125-109, comfortably get over that 220.5. It's the Suns that are the ones that are potentially of concern here. And I can mitigate that factor out there. We've got 4 of the last 5 games for the Suns have gone under. 3 straight road games. Now their 4th straight road game. But you look at that Pacers game, 133-131, comfortably got over that 244 spot out there. And when I say I can mitigate or nullify that fact that the Suns games have gone under, specific to the Phoenix Suns, they're 27-7 to the over when they're facing a team they beat who made it to the playoffs the previous season. That's a 79% edge out there on a spot with this number here with these Phoenix Suns tonight. The concern turned out it wasn't the Miami Heat. It might be the Suns, and the Suns are smashing and cashing those over. So still see 229.5 out there at Caesars, but I know Caesars, we talked about this last show here, right? They're slow to update their numbers. And I see a 230. So 230 is fine. I'm not going to be, excuse me, I'm not going to get too worried about that 230 spot. Let's go. Let's roll. Next game on the docket. We got 2 more NBA games, and we'll get everybody up out of here. JPZ says the Heat suck. Yeah, they do. They suck, especially at home. They suck. So interesting spot there. Perky Bump says, I have a feeling Jackson State's going to ruin a lot of nights. I have to stay off. Interesting observation. Perky. Morgan Spooner says, Perky, I'm on 3 games tonight. A&M, Corpus Christi -2.5, Houston Christian +3.5, and Jackson State -4 for our guy. JP says, yeah, I remember J State almost losing to an 0-10 Georgia. Man, it sounds like those guys suck. Kelly V says Milwaukee, Denver over 240. Just keep eye. Illness expected to play. GF illness expected to play. Let's go. Let's talk about this next game. We're looking here. And we got to go to Southtown's favorite basketball team here, San Antonio Spurs. It's Wemby night. And, the Spurs for me were a tough kind of situation early in the season there. The trades, the movements they made, they had to get things right. And I think they've made some last minute line shuffling here to get Wemby in a spot that he can capitalize and take advantage. This number, though, kind of an interesting spot, opened at 4. 79% of the bets, 82% of the cash, has dropped a half a point to 3.5. The back number, 242.5, Now sitting at 241.5, 241s, and 240s are some of the lowest numbers that we're seeing out there. So they like this thing to potentially be a lower scoring game, despite the fact that 60% of the bets and 91% of the cash are on this over out there. And I see the Futon bet says over in the Spurs game. Look, I broke this one down. This is the old double dipper for me, or not a double dipper, I guess, but I'm sort of teasing this one. So we're taking that 4, we're making it a money line with the Spurs. We look back at the Spurs, what they've done here over the last stretch of games. They're on a 2-game winning streak. They've won 3 of their last 5 games out there. They're in a home stand as well. They've been playing well at home. They lost to OKC 140-114. Not their finest hour, but they did cover a big spread of 13.5 points on the road against the Sixers when the Sixers were busting teams up in the Eastern Conference to start this 2024 off. Then they come back home. Again, I mentioned the OKC loss. They lose to Portland they beat Portland 116-100. Kind of a big difference there. And then Minnesota 113-112. 10.5 point dogs to Minnesota. They come out there and they outright their asses. On the other side of things, the Wizard got that win against Detroit. I'll tell you what, we're about 3 games away from me starting to get a lot of buy on this Washington Wizard side of things. I still think I need to see them kind of kick into gear a little bit on a few ideas here, but when it comes down to it for me, I'm just looking back at the course of what they've been doing, and they have not been doing enough. When I look at this Wemby spot, first of all, we've got the Spurs have won 2 games in a row. They're 3 of their last 5, as I mentioned, and we've got a Wemby team that's got the opportunity against the Wizards spot that's the worst rebounding team in the league. 57.7 rebounds allowed per game. The average on the road goes up to 58.3. And the Wemby factor, as I mentioned, with some lineup changes now, he's averaging 30 minutes or more a game out there. His rebounds have improved. He's got double-digit rebounds in 7 games this month. And I mentioned how bad the Wizards are. Only 8 wins on the entire season. That's terrible. It's ridiculous to see what's going on. I think the 5-man lineup for San Antonio, better hands down than what we see on the other side of things with the Wizards. I mentioned, I think they're going to be in a spot that they're going to start turning some heads. But when you look at this 5-man lineup for the San Antonio Spurs, they're a mind-blowing 32.8 net rating in 60 minutes of play. The rest of the team's minus 8.4. When their 5 are healthy and rolling, which we are in that position tonight, they go out there and they neutralize teams. I think it's a great opportunity to take the Wemby spot down from over 12.5 rebounds to 10 plus, and the San Antonio Spurs on the money line. And I got it at plus 102. Now, point of parliamentary procedure here. Let's go. Let's take a look back. All kinds of books have same game parlay options tonight. I know there's a $100 no sweat bet opportunity that they gave me over at DraftKings. I know FanDuel's got some of those opportunities as well. They've got 33% boost. They've got 50% boost. This plus 102 represents a DK number flat. So however you want to play that, just make sure you shop it appropriately, because this will constitute that same game parlay, and you could really boost those odds up if you're so inclined to tail that thing. So make sure you shop, make sure you take advantage of those things out there, like those same game parlays. And then last but not least, let's close this card out in the NBA. We're going back to my squad here, the Sixers. The Sixers and the Trailblazers. I gave this play out on the sesh earlier today at a 9. It's dropping. So the drop to me is more associated with the Joel Embiid factor, though. He hurt his knee a couple games ago. They pulled some last-minute trickery, only a couple minutes. I think it was 15 minutes before the last game that they announced that Embiid was going to be out. We saw that line starting to drop, so we kind of expected that to be in there. This isn't news, though, right? So this half-a-point movement, in my opinion, is just the public hearing that Embiid's going to officially be out, and it's now they're kind of chasing that Blazers plus 9 spot. I don't want anything to do with these Trailblazers. I'll tell you, first of all, 83% of the bets, 87% of the cash on the Sixers, okay? I got it dropped. We got to put an asterisk on that because of that announcement of the Embiid news. The big opportunity here is the advantage that teams that shoot a more effective 3-ball, that play better in the paint, have across all the metrics. It's like 18-1, 19-1, 9-1s against the spread. Then you got these road favorites off a win or a loss by less than 10 points as a dog are 25-3 against the spread when they're facing a non-conference team if either team is restless. So the restless factor very much plays a part in this game tonight. We know that we saw what happened this last time. The Trailblazers playing just yesterday against the Chicago Bulls at home, downed 104-96 as a 5.5 point dog. The fact that we get 8.5 now, better opportunity than this spot, because in this case, I can justify this line movement in saying this is the public hearing that Embiid's out. He was already out. He was already factored in. He's been out for 2 days. He's been out of the lineup since the last game when they played Denver 111-105. And all those guys and girls that dogged him and said, oh, he doesn't want to play against Joker. That's a joke out there. He could give a shit. He wants to go out there and win the championship. He's only got 7 games left. They had a parameter this year. You can only sit so many games and still be eligible for the MVP status. He's sitting again, which means he's only going to have 6 games left the rest of the season. Now, you think he's faking that injury or that he's dodging, Joker out there? I don't think so. I think that's a joke here. I think the Sixers are going to rally behind this guy. It's not the first game the All-Star's out. It's the second, and we know that they kind of close the ranks and can figure it out without him, especially playing a subpar Trailblazers team that's off of back-to-back losses. So I'm going to lock it down and close this card out. We've got 8.5. Alec Dirk says he's got 5 games left. Okay, I thought it was 6, but if it's 5, that's even more of a red flag to say that out there. And what up? I see our guy Jared Bush in the chat. Now it's 11.5 for Wemby. Yeah, that's an adjustment move. You got to go to the 10 plus. Go to the alternate rebound spots for that, Jared. It's 10 plus for Wemby rebounds. His number's 11.5 or was 12, or whatever. The 12.5 is 11.5, but the 10 plus is the spot that I took in there. And Ramon Scott says LBJ and AD in tonight. And it's only 1.5 points, Ramon Scott. Interesting. Nunya says, Nunya business parlay of the day. Likes the Houston money line at Texas. Jackson State money line. I've heard Jackson State so many times in this chat that I'm going to have to get my eyes on that game. I can't have you guys winning without me. So Justin McAlvey says, Duke line moved to -5 out there. Let's go. That's another cautionary, right? That's the spot we want to see. Let's go. Let's get it done. Shout out to all you guys and girls in the chat today, rocking with us. Kelly D says, last 2 meetings, totals flew over, so over. Oh, this is that Texas A&M game. I see what she's saying out there. So that's going to do it for us tonight, you guys. If you haven't done so thus far, hit that like button for me. Show the support the cause, support the channel. Go out there and subscribe to Pub Sports Radio. Anytime we go live, any of the shows that we go live with, any shows like today with the Sesh, the crew was there rocking the Sunday live streams, the Saturday college basketball shows, Jeff Nadu's college basketball breakdown, all about the hoops with Dutch and Dabby on Wednesdays. You'll be notified every time Pub Sports goes live out there. And give us, again, that thumbs up. We've got 2-tier membership levels now, $9.99, the newest opportunity. You're going to want to get in there and take advantage of those now. Wednesday and Friday, horse racing, $50 giveaways out there by our guy, Jeff Slaughter, laying it down for us and trying to give everybody a chance to get that cash in their pockets. Furthermore, guys, you got discounts on the merch when you get involved with Pub Sports Radio. Lots of great new shirts, hoodies. They got the Pub Rub. They got the Manscaped. All kinds of things going on out there in the merch store. You guys are going to want to go check that out. And then last but not least, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow, Tuesday, last call, 6 p.m. Let's go out there and have ourselves a night. Let's build that cash. Let's get this week moving in the right direction. Shout out Dave Burke, Kelly V, Morgan Spooner, Perky Bumps, Jay Peasy, Daryl Miles. The crew is here. Alec Dirks is rocking with us. Jared Bush, of course. Ramon Scott. I'm seeing my guy Ramon. Nunya, Cheshire Cats in the house. Justin giving us that Stacks POD. Rocking and rolling tonight, you guys. The Futon Bets. Tori Coker. Of course, our action was blessed as well with the $5 dono. You guys doing great things out there. Kicking butt, taking names. Stay sharp. Stay cash. And I'll see you guys here back tomorrow as well. We be popping, baby.